Hi George, welcome to Sounding Properties.
Lovely seeing you.
It's nice to have you here. What would you suggest your clients to buy and help them make the most of their investments now?
Well, it all depends on the client and what does the client want. There are a variety of things and a variety of factors that one should consider. One of them would be, are they looking to buy a property for cash flow purposes, i.e. to be in a positive cash flow, or is it in terms of capital gain? And then, of course, one of the most determining factors would be their personal preferences about their knowledge of London, as well as possibly, their budget as well. That could determine very much, their final choice of property selected.
What methods would you recommend to sell a property and why?
Well, what I always say to all of my clients is that we need to maximize the exposure of the property by a variety of marketing means to generate the most competition. So at the moment, real estate in the past used to be very much a local business where you used to know and sort of distribute the information locally via newspapers, magazines, and mail shots. Today, it's a very different ball game altogether. It's all about networks. Who do you know? How close are you to those networks? And how can you actually possibly present the properties you've been instructed on? Social media, as well as the normal previous past experiences of newspaper advertising, paper advertising, and mail shots. And finally, of course, one of the things that most agents are the best at, which is calling your database, reaching out and advising them of the opportunity they could have with you.
How long do you think it will take to sell a property and why?
Well, it depends on the property and it depends very much on the pricing of the property. So in other words, if the property is priced correctly, and that is in the market at the right price, you should expect that the property will be sold between 10 to 12 weeks. If, on the other hand, the property is overpriced, then unfortunately it's pretty much a dire experience for the vendor due to the fact that it will be taking a lot longer and definitely in excess of 3 months and with several price drops in the future.
What would you say if a buyer comes to you and asks, how long has this property been on the market for?
That's a brilliant question, actually, and that's something a lot of our clients do ask us. What I've realized ourselves is most of the buyers at the moment, when they come and see a property, they already have this information at hand from the portals. Does it make a difference? Well, it does. It's literally, I always call it, like fresh breads coming out of bakery. Those ones are the ones that get snatched first. So a property that came recently in the market has got always the biggest demand. Something that has actually stayed a lot longer, you can see, sort of a dwindling of the inquiries coming in. So anything between 3 to 6 weeks is an incredible opportunity for somebody to make an offer. And the fact of the matter is, it doesn't really matter how long the property has been in the market for. What matters is the property correctly priced, and more importantly, is the property the one that the buyer is looking to buy.
Could you tell me a little bit more about the company?
Sure. So London Executive is in the industry now for more than 20 years. We've always been based in W1 in central London. And it was started actually by my parents, literally, almost 23 years ago now. The company has evolved a lot more from where it first started. We started because we were servicing US Navy and the US Embassy personnel when they were coming into the UK, specifically in London, addressing their short-term needs as well as their long-term needs. Of course, the company moved on from there, where we have now been servicing mainly investors from overseas for the last 23 years, helping them to buy, let, and potentially refurbish their property asset here in London. The main purpose of London Executive is to advise our client base, which runs into thousands, what will be the next best personal wealth investment they can make themselves into real estate.
Why London Executive? What makes you different to other real estate agents?
Fantastic question. So the reason why we're different is because we are all very much focused on the international market. The focus of the business is trying to address as many clients as possible from overseas, hence the reason why we have so many languages spoken in this office. The other great advantage is that we're now part of Keller Williams, which is a much, much bigger network, which gives us the international exposure that we've always wanted. 124,000 agents across the world, helping us actually succeed in selling the assets of London into the overseas market.
How are you related to Keller Williams?
Well, London Executive is an independent office and we are run by Keller Williams. And what does that mean is that we have the benefit of the huge network of agents across the world from Keller Williams. Plus, most importantly of all, is the training and the coaching that we're receiving. The benefit that since we've joined Keller Williams is in our results. We are successfully growing each and every day by lead generating and reaching out to clients when we have never done so before. What I would say, the best thing out of Keller Williams is its culture. The culture of being able to help one another, share with one another the knowledge that we have for the benefit of both parties.
What other services does London Executive offer?
London Executive is a turnkey solution for the property sector. What we do is literally every single step with reference to property, we take care of it. So if it's in terms of sale of a property, we do what everybody else does, but with a bit of a twist. The twist is that you have a personal service from a local agent with an international exposure. If it is a question about lettings, again, very much the same thing. We will be able to let your property, the asset, and fully manage it on a 24-hour basis. And finally, if the property requires a refurbishment, then that is also something that we have taken care of before in the past for our clients. But it doesn't just stop for the property owner. It's also all about the tenant and the buyer. So for the tenant, we will also offer them services such as Home Saver, which is the provision of utilities under one bill. We will offer them telephone and internet service, maid service, literally everything that a tenant could possibly wish for. For the buyer, well, it doesn't stop from the moment that they bought the property with us. We are in contact throughout, their life that they've owned the property, and we're there to help them. Help them in terms of if they need refurbishment. Help them in terms of finding out, where is that special switch that allows you to do something in the property, because we make sure that we keep in touch both with our ex-vendors and new homeowners.
Thank you very much, George.
It's my pleasure.